Okay, we'll work with example 3 right now, and I'll just write it down here instead of copying and pasting it. So what we have is okay, it's not required to write the 0 in front of the decimal point, but I just wrote it to make it look clearer for you guys. Okay, so when we are trying to estimate the sum of these decimal numbers, first we need to look for the smallest addend, the least addend. In this case, the least addend is 215,000, right? 215,000. So we can, I'll write it here. For this number, we can round it off to the nearest 10th place, or we can round it off to the next biggest place, which is the 1st place. So when we round it off, okay, there are two cases. It's the first case, second case. So if we round it off to the nearest 10th place, what we will obtain is 200. Okay. When we round it off to the nearest second place, to the nearest 1st place, then what we'll get is just a 0. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. So when we round it off to the nearest 10th place, we'll get 0.200, which is a 200,000, right? And for the second case, when we round it off to the nearest 1st place, we'll get a 0. So I think it's better to go with the first case, right? Instead of writing just 0, and because then this number will have no value. Instead of doing that, it's better to go with this rounded number. Okay, so we all decide to go with the first case, in which we round it off to the nearest 10th place. Or we do the same with all the other numbers. And let me erase this part. Okay, so for 572,000, when we round it off to the nearest 10th place, what we'll get is, okay, there's a 7 next to the 5, and 7 is greater than 5, so we add plus 1 to 5. We add 1 to 5, and then we'll get 5 plus 1, 6. 7 now is a 0, and 2 is also 0. Right? Okay, let's go to the next number. And there's a 3 at the 10th place, and there's a 4 at the 100th place. And 4 is less than 5. So we follow rule 2, and we'll get, oops, there's a point there. Yeah, 3, we don't add anything to 3, so it stays the same. 4 is now 0, and 8 is a 0. The same thing we do with the next number. Oops. And we'll get 200,000. Okay, so I'll try to sum them up, and we'll get 0, 0, and then 6 plus 3, 9, 9 plus 2, 11, so it goes 1, and it will become 1 and 100,000, or easier, we can just call 1 and 1/10. Now let's compare to the actual computed sum. The actual computed sum in this case is, okay, oops. So when you compare these two numbers, let's scroll down. When you compare these two numbers, you can see that they're very close, right? So the estimating worked. It actually made summing these numbers up easier. Okay, so that's the end of example 3, and we'll move on to the next section.